So this is the first time I'm really writing on part 4. Part 3 ends with until the seed sprouted. So part 4 starts with the whole family gathered, casting shadows on an entirely normal looking leaf. A single leaf the size of a baby's fingernail. And I was doing brainstorming. I want the plant to look just like this. Just this tiny little leaf here. And this little bit of stem. So I had all this stuff. Frail, wrinkly, new and uncertain. It's a baby. It's just this first little leaf. It's cautious. It's tentative. I was thinking about there's a pile of manure on top of where the seed was planted. So it's probably growing out of the side at the lowest slope. That's what I really want to add. So let's move that down. The whole family casting shadows on an entirely normal looking leaf. It grew from the lowest slope of the manure pile. Faye had heaped over her seed. A single leaf the size of a baby's fingernail. Would be I want to use something here. Tentative, cautious. It looked frail and cautious. I just want to get that down. Taking its first, not first steps, reaching into the air for the first time. Something like that. And then Faye pushed them away with all the strength in her tiny arms. It needs light, she shouted. They allowed themselves to be poked and prodded to I want to say respectable distance. That just feels good. Far enough for I'm thinking of the family. Far enough for light, sunlight to strike, fill, strike. I like the image of a strike because it's hot. It's the end of summer. It's hot. The heat is heavy, right? It's going to fall, plummet. It's going to do something really heavy. Crash. Crush. On would it be the sprout? And then I can go back to my brainstorm. It's growing out of the side of it. They're looking at it, covering it, so when they move and the light falls on it. Yeah, I already had light falls on it. Faye could greet it. Hello. Hello, Faye said, dropping her voice to a polite whisper. The contrast is great. She's shouting at them all, and then when she talks to the plant, she's being really polite. There could be some nice interplay between the kids. I'm your mommy, she says, right? I mean, this is a very young girl. Plants don't have mothers, Mary said. I also wanted to add something. How are they reacting when they're being pushed? I mean, they're allowing themselves to be poked and prodded. I think the mother elm would be her expression, her reaction would be she would be smiling, right? Elm smiled. Tight-lipped. It's not a huge smile. She's trying to hold it in. And whereas Nikki and Mary shared affronted expressions and would probably make their younger sister pay for her actions later. I'm thinking with pinches or, what would they actually do? They might pinch her. They might do something else. I'll just say with pinches for now. Hello, Faye said, dropping her voice to a polite whisper. I'm your mommy. Plants don't have mothers, Mary said. She's not being mean. She's kind of showing off. She's teaching, instructing. That's kind of Mary's thing. Or it could be Nikki that says plants don't have mothers. That might actually be better. Okay. So, plants don't have mothers. Nikki said. Here I'm thinking of a nickname. He's the older brother. So would he call his youngest sister Faye, or would he have a nickname for her? But nothing pops into my head. I mean, the name Faye means fairy. It's like a queen or something of the fairies. So he could call her Fairy, but that's longer than her name. Nicknames are usually shorter. So I'll have to think about that. I'll just put a comma. Possibly calls her by a nickname. It could be longer. It could be something that's meant to aggravate and tease her. He might just call her stupid. My son calls my youngest daughter stupid all the time. In Korean, it's babo, so he always says babo, or he says 멍청이, which means stupid. But babo has that nice punch to it. Babo. I mean, that sounds like an insult. It could also be a curse. Maybe he's cursing at her. Not a terrible curse, but it could be a kind of gentle one. Of course they do, Mary said. Not mean. She's showing off. She's teaching. She's instructing. She's always keeping everyone in their place. Okay. Hello, Face said. I'm your mommy. Plants don't have mothers, Nikki said. Of course they do, Mary said. Not mean, showing off, teaching. Always keeping everyone in their place. I mean, I could continue. There could be a little bit of world building that I do here. That's something I was thinking about as I was typing this part. Plants don't have mothers. Of course they do. And then Mary says, everything has a mother. And then Nikki's still trying to be the older brother. And he says, something like, even rocks. And then a little bit of world building. Ever heard of da-da-da? Mary asked. So some kind of god or some kind of creature. You know, I'm thinking about Greek mythology. You had chaos. You had Uranus, and you had the sky. What was the sky? Wait, hold on. No, now I'm getting into like Greek, Roman mythology, aren't I? You know, you had the sky. You had the sky and the sea, and they created everything. You had the sun. You had whatever. Two things that became mother and father to all the gods, to the earth. So there's potential for a little bit of world building there. Just a quick little bit. And then maybe Nikki, grumbles. A trait he'd gotten from Rick, from his father. He hadn't decided how he felt about that, whether he should be pleased or embarrassed. Elm had made her thoughts on the matter clear. Pushing his... not pushing, I don't like pushing. Elm had made her thoughts on the matter clear. I'm looking for just the right word. Detailing at length all the reasons why he should be ashamed. Oh, man. I got some coffee. Oh man, I'm sorry. That happens to me a lot. It's really weird. I'll cough. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. I'll cough and then I'll sneeze immediately after. It's a weird quirk of my body. Oh man, you can't imagine how long it's been since I've heard someone say God bless you. They don't say God bless you here in Korea. It's kind of a Christian Catholic expression. Keeping the demons from entering your body, I guess. So nobody says it over here to me. Okay. They don't say bless you in Korea. Do they say babo? Yeah, of course. They say babo. Babo, 멍청이. I mean, I think there's also Asian culture. There's some. I feel like there's more shame around saying I'm sorry. So, excuse me, I'm sorry. Uh, to me, it's just such a normal thing. I'm always saying sorry, but apparently, it carries a lot more weight. People are more reluctant to say that. At least in my experience. Detailing all the reasons why he should be okay. So Nikki grumbles a trait he got. Yeah, this is getting really out of control. The other thing I wanted to check was I'm going to scroll through. I mean, this is 24 pages, although there are some pages of notes. Yeah, here's part 1. Yeah, this is 4,300 words. I was going to add that to my... that's not what I wanted to do. I was going to add that to my text box. Except I can't select it. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Move that up. Story. Current word count 4,300 plus. Goal was 5,000 to 6,000. Sad face. I'm gonna go over that goal by a lot. Let's see. I don't like the way that looks, but I don't want to make that box super huge. Okay, that's good for now. I wanted to start adding that. I'll have to edit it later. So what's going to happen is it's going to become, I think, a novelette. A novelette is a short novel, typically one that is light and romantic or sentimental. Yeah, so a short story over 1,000 words, less than 10,000 words. So it could still be a short story. A novelette is 7,500 to 19,000 words, and then a novella, 10,000 to 40,000. So I want to keep it shorter than a novella, but I have a feeling it's going to be a novelette, technically, if we go over 10,000 words, which seems likely. Just something to keep in mind. If I want to publish it somewhere, depending on the length, I need to obviously look at word counts, but when I'm searching, I need to search for short story, magazines or novelette magazines or novella magazines. But something that I'm going to do later, regardless of what the word count, where the word count finishes, I'll have the complete story as I want it. I'll have a final thing. So if it's 10,000 words, I'm going to do streams where I cut it down to a short story length. Like I'll cut it down to between 5,000, 6,000 words, and I'll show how to do that. It's not easy. Doesn't feel good cutting big chunks of text, but sometimes you have to do it. All right, so Nicky grumbles a trait he'd gotten from Rick. He hadn't decided how he felt about that, whether he should be pleased or embarrassed. Elm had made her detailing at length all the reasons why he should be. Okay, so I'm trying to meet the goals of the family dynamics, right? Movement through a scene. They're around the plant. They move back. We could have them move a little bit here. I mean, we have Faye talking. He's grumbling. And then when I was doing the notes, this picture, I was looking at this picture and brainstorming. I wanted Faye to say hello, and then it would immediately grow before their eyes. It's a magic plant. So Faye might say, don't listen to them, Faye said. Maybe her voice, sickly, sweet. That's a good question. I'll ask you. I'll talk to you about that in a second. Let me get this thought down real quick. Don't listen to them, Faye said. Her voice, sickly, sweet. I'm your mother and I love you. I think that's an important thing, that she loves the plant. But also, Faye, her voice sickly sweet, as had become her habit, she put her face, inches from the manure pile. As she spoke to the plant. I want her moving closer to the plant. I want people constantly moving around. She says, I'm your mother and I love you. Your mother and I love you. As if hearing and understanding Faye's words, the sprout visibly grew an inch. Oh, the other thing was, I wanted to look at this story before I forget. Hold on. Why is this so far over? I don't know why it's so far over. I think you can see it though, right? This is this was a short story I was writing, and it just started to grow in my head, and I thought, maybe it's a novel. and it has a farmer. So it's kind of, there are some connections to this story because this story is about farming, but the main thing is this woman comes at the very beginning. She's a witch, and she doesn't have her voice. Kind of like Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid, she can't speak. Someone has taken her voice. She's a witch. She has to kill them to get it back, basically. And then he's saying he's going to work on the farm, and she's outside. She's standing at the edge of his field. She knelt upon the ground, her hands buried up to the wrists in soil still damp from yesterday's showers. Her magic washed over the fields, visible as a deep shimmer in the air, even without using my inner sight. Before she had finished, the nearest plants began to move, stalks of corn bending to pull weeds from the soil at their bases. They passed the weeds to the plants nearest us to be stacked in piles at the end of each row. The farm grew eerily quiet as insects fled in scattered swarms, and even the crows watching from the trees beyond my land took wing. She rose with a stagger, but I was there to catch her arm. She blinked up at me, then fainted. Okay. So, what? I thought there was more. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yes. That night he saw only the field, which was bustling with activity. Tomatoes rolled along their vines, spiraling down to the earth. Branches plucked peppers and passed them down the line in well-coordinated passes. Cucumbers swung back and forth on their vines, twirled into the air, landed atop twisted green tendrils, and tightrope walked their way to the ground. So the magic has made his field come alive, and all the plants are moving. And I thought that might work, that I could take that and put it in this story. But as I'm reading it, I think, no, I don't want to do that. It fits too well in that story. So I'm not going to do that. I was going to have the plant twist its vines, little tendrils around all the plants in the field and then make them move like a marionette pulling the strings of its puppets. I don't want to do that. It might be more fun if Nikki's talking about the plant growing Venus flytrap mouths to eat crows. Maybe it does exactly that because it hurt him. Okay. So we have the plant. It's out of the ground. It's visibly growing, and then I don't know what I want after that. I haven't thought that far ahead. I mean, I have the plant growing, but not in the garden. There are vines in the root cellar, super thin ones growing among the plants or on the plants. Finding it growing in every part. I think, again, I was trying to show a transition from morning to afternoon to night in part 3. So right here, we're already talking about night, him spending his nights with Ellen. This I still need to do some work on. But if the seed sprouts, not really at night, but it could happen in the evening, then we could adjust the light so that it's that golden evening light as the sun is setting. Yeah, right here. Golden hour. The that rich evening light. That would be nice. And then I feel like someone would laugh. And like Mary would gasp. Kind of a smaller version of her mother, so the mom could also gasp. And then Rick might just grunt. That's what he generally does. He might just grunt. So they would all react to that. But then what would happen? Faye would probably try to get it to grow more. Oh, that's wonderful. Faye maybe squealed. I mean, she would be so excited. Do it again. You can do it. See, it needed light. Oh. And water, she said, racing off. She's gonna run away. She's got to get water. Movement. I want the movement. And then I feel like Elm and Rick would have a conversation to the side. Show Faye coming back with water. But Mary and Nikki have gotten too close to the plant again, so she tells them to get back, then starts watering their heads when they don't move. Elm and Rick would have, but the important thing is there's now a magic plant. You know, it's definitely magic growing. So that just happened, Elm said. You don't happen to know what we've got growing in our front yard, do you? I mean, this is where the tension's really gonna ratchet up. because it really is magic. It could be dangerous. So Mama Bear is going to be upset with her husband. He knows it's a magic seed. The last of its kind. Because it's carnivorous and had to be exterminated. Because blah 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 blah. I can't believe you don't know any more than that. First thing tomorrow, head back to the market, find the fool who sold you that seed, and find out and learn what we've given our daughter. Okay, so there's got to be something. There's got to be some tension. There's got to be, she's angry, she's upset. In the morning, the plant can already be larger. Not too large, just a little bit larger. Everything's underground. It's spreading around through the house. So then Rick goes into town, he comes back, and it's already, even more. So in the morning, I want to show the kids again. The kids exclaiming, especially Faye, because the plant has grown into her room. So Rick is rushed to the town, right? He has to really hurry. Because that will lead us to part 5. Describing within finding it. Okay. So all those notes are good. I've got those down. Part 5, Rick goes back to town, visits some kind of tax office, and overhears gossip about a faraway kingdom that was destroyed by monstrous plants. Yes. So he's going to go back. He's looking for the merchant. Can't find him at first, is hearing this gossip, then finds him, asks where he got it from, what do you know about it, blah blah blah, where'd you get it from, right? So here's gossip, can't find the merchant, finally spots the merchant, pulls him aside, asking about the seed, what kind of magic, and final question, where did it come from? Merchant says the kingdom, the faraway kingdom, and then cut to the next part. The only thing is, I don't want us to first hear about this other kingdom in part 5. So I also need to find a place to slip in that faraway kingdom. Maybe Nikki heard something about it that the recruiter is coming earlier that year because of the troubles in that other kingdom. In part one, when he's at the market, he could hear something, but that whole scene really takes place in the alleyway. So it's probably not going to fit into part one, which is okay. I can fit it into part 2 or 3. But I would like us to see it before we get to part 5. And then tension, yeah. It really starts to grow and develop. And then the end. Yeah, so this Fantasia thing isn't going to happen. I hope you enjoyed that video. Look in the description down below. There's a lot more that you can find. My blog, my self-published novel. I have a stream on Twitch, and there are a lot of other YouTube videos. From the Height of a Mind, I'm Mike.